Tornado warning now in effect for northern Wind Parish. Northern half of Wind Parish is in that, and I'm just now getting all the data in, so taking a look to see what we have going on there. Yes, so we have the tornado warning now in place for northern Wind Parish. We're going to go on in, take a closer look at this storm as it continues to move on toward the east-northeast. Just 1 second, going to pull this in. Show you, this is generally going to be north of Winfield, up around Calvin and Dodson. Taking a look at the velocity, that's the area we're looking at right there. Let's see, right in here, that's what we're looking at, that rotation right there. That's what they're seeing. That's why we have this tornado warning that has been issued. Pretty significant rotation. That is going to be heading right toward Dodson. It's right over Calvin and just north of Winfield right now. So, if you are in those areas, you definitely want to seek shelter. We have another storm down to the southwest we're also watching. Pulling this up, just 1 second. Okay. Got everything lined up to go now. And I'm going to take a look at some different products here. That's your wind shear rate. And that shows that we have, it's not showing up as an off-the-charts type measurement here, but this is certainly something that's strong enough to bear watching as it heads up toward Dodson. And I'm going to put this in motion for you so we can take a look and see how that shear has been trending. It looks like that was coming over the northern end, I believe. Oh, goodness. Don't know what lake that is. Tom, you know what that is? Ooh. The one west of Winfield. Oh. Storm came right over the top of that. Well, hey, you know what? You know it if you live around there.
Yeah, it's not Black Lake, is it?
I don't know. I was thinking Iat, but that's further southwest.
It's in Grant.
Yep. So let's go ahead and take a look at that wind shear that is now heading toward 167. They're right between Dodson and Winfield. You do not want to be traveling. If you're in that area, you want to be seeking shelter, getting as many walls between you and the outside as you can, and seeking shelter, getting into a safe place. This is a tornado warning, again, for northern Wind Parish. So if you are north of Winfield and Wind Parish, and you're generally east of Galdana, just north of Calvin, that is where this is. Heading toward Dodson. So anywhere in those areas, that's where we're going to be looking for the potential to see some tornadic development here. I'm not seeing anything showing that we have something on the ground right now, but that this is a debris tracker. This is a lagging indicator. That means the tornado has to be down for us to see it. So we don't want to wait for that before we seek shelter. So you want to go ahead and do that right now. Seek shelter if you are in northern Wind Parish as this storm continues to move on toward the east-northeast. Tornado warning in effect here until 3 p.m. And we're going to keep an eye on that. We're just going to keep it live here now as it looks like things are taking off across the area. New severe thunderstorm warning as well. This includes parts of Natchitoches, and it looks like extreme northwestern Grant Parish. This storm, and let me pull this out so we have the wind storm on as well. This one here moving through Anacoco and now into southern Natchitoches Parish through the Kisatchie National Forest. This one also, it has some rotation with it. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and take a look at that. We're looking from the Fort Polk radar. So to see rotation in this storm at that low level, we're only several hundred feet up into it. That shows that this is something we're definitely going to watch. It's crossing Highway 117 right now. That's where the rotation is into a pretty rural area there of extreme northern Vernon and southern Natchitoches Parish. But as it stands right now, we want to focus in on that tornado warning up there in northern Wind Parish. This is headed right for Dodson. Not a confirmed tornado. I'm just looking at any sort of new information I can find on it. And Tom, just feel free to let me know if you see anything. This is, if you see it go confirmed or something, just tap me on the shoulder. Made over mainly rural areas of northern Wind Parish, Sykes, Calvin, Dodson, Hudson, and Galdana. It's past Galdana now, and if you're in Dodson, Sykes, those areas, that's where the strongest rotation is going to be with this storm. But kind of right on cue here, 2 o'clock, we kind of thought things were going to take off, and we've certainly seen that as these thunderstorms are now tapping into all that warmth and instability that has been moving in from the south. I've got sun blaring in on me from outside here, so the instability is going to continue to increase as these storms move on toward the east-northeast, and they're not moving overly fast. In fact, this one one's moving at about 40 miles per hour, pretty standard speed there for a severe thunderstorm. These aren't moving at some crazy blinding speed, but they are not just hanging out either. This storm, that's really looking nasty here. The one in northern Vernon and southern Natchitoches, that really is starting to get that look on radar here. And what I'm going to do actually is go up, and I'm going to go to the Shreveport radar so I can check a different tilt on both of these storms. It's going to be higher up. First off, we'll go to the tornado warned storm, and I have I'm going to keep my chat up here just to see if they're issuing a tornado warning. No, nothing coming out imminently on that one, moving into southern Natchitoches Parish. But I'm going to go ahead, pull up the velocity scan here, and yeah, that's where we're seeing. This is more into the mid-levels of the storm. There's no real, you're not going to get real good low-level data because this area is further away from both the Fort Polk and the Shreveport radar sites. So seeing that mid-level rotation is certainly the first step to seeing the potential for a tornado. And I'm not, that's good news, seeing that on the northern Vernon and southern Natchitoches Parish storm. So let's just go back up to this one, check a look at the debris and see if we see anything. We do not. So reflectivity is going to be the way to go here, and this is just your typical radar data. I'm actually going to go back to the Fort Polk. I wanted to see that different scan on this. And man, I know this is where our tornado warning is, but that cell right there is, I mean, that's just getting that perfect quintessential supercell look. I mean,
it's evolving into a supercell.
Just north of Kurthwood, heading toward Mink. Kyle, you're probably seeing some hail in that area right now. This is a severe thunderstorm warning right now, but I'm watching very closely to see what happens with this over the next few minutes. So trying not to get tunnel vision on all this stuff. I'm going to zoom things out further. And yes, this whole area is in a tornado watch until 7 o'clock. Northern Wind Parish is our active tornado warning right now. And that is, again, going to be up near Dodson and Sykes, and that's going to head toward the northeast and then out of our forecast area. So you can see now why we kind of have to condense this down. It's tough to do something and actually cover severe weather for the entire state or something like that, especially on a day like today when it's so busy. But as of now, we do have this tornado warning in effect, and that rotation right now is about to cross Highway 167 north of 84. That's where it intersects in Winfield. Not a lot of lightning, but seeing a few strikes with this storm, but that rotation continues to move on toward the east-northeast at about 40 miles per hour, and that is going to move right through Dodson. So if we do see something touch down, unfortunately, it's going to go through a relatively populated area there. Not a big city, but we got some folks that live in that town, and we're going to certainly be hoping that this continues to not look that impressive. Going to make sure I don't miss a warning should we see one issued down here.
Reissued for a northern
Vernon
Parish, including Kurthwood.
Okay, that's this storm down here.
245.
And this is going to be moving out of Vernon and into southern Natchitoches Parish, and then we'll see if that thing decides to make a little bit more of a right hook. As sometimes when we see these supercell thunderstorms, we do get that. So these are the two main shows right now. These storms had been fairly well behaved for a while, but all of a sudden here we hit 2 o'clock and things definitely started to change around our area. And I'm going to go ahead and pop up some of these tools, take a look at some of the different things we're able to offer through this. This is going to show your severe storm moving to the east-northeast at 40. We were talking about that. Top's not crazy high. A 70% chance we have hail in this storm, and the hail size is manageable at about a half an inch. The BTI, that is a tornado index, the Barron Tornado Index. It's a product that is given to us through this system that we have, and the closer that gets to 10, the more likely you are actually seeing a tornado. So right now, it is at 4.7. That's not overly high, but it's something to watch. The BTI on that southern Natchitoches, northern Vernon storm, 2.1. So that's some good news right now. Those Though the bad news is it seems we're just kind of trending in this direction of everything trying to go severe pretty quickly. Still, these storms to the southwest of us, those have not really gotten together just yet, but it looks like what we're seeing is this broken line that's still well ahead of the cold front, and that broken line of storms right there is tapping into a very favorable wind profile. There is a lot of wind shear and plenty of instability as the sun's still peeking out here and temperatures are in the low 80s, which is even warmer than we were forecasting. Let me zoom back in on this one, take a look at our tornado warned cell, see if we have any updates coming in. That is just a reissue of something.
I don't see anything there, but as you can see with the signature, you got some good inflow there. Looks like we see the south part kind of bowing out a little bit. We're also seeing, I think, some of the rotation remains significant and persistent, which is an important thing, that it's persistent. It's not transient, here now, gone later kind of thing. So it's kind of holding together.
Yep. And
take it seriously.
Yeah, you want to take this seriously up around Dodson. And I'm looking at the chat with National Weather Service in Shreveport, and they are about to issue a tornado warning. In fact, it looks like that is now active on this cell that is down there in southern Natchitoches Parish. There is your tornado warning. So that is now officially out. Let me pull up the reflectivity. Yeah, they said they're going with the tornado warning on the cell moving into southern Natchitoches Parish. The hook is getting impressive on this, and that's what we were saying. This tornado warning, which now we're kind of overlaying all these different warnings here, but you can see this goes up to include pretty much almost up to Colfax. This does stay north of the Rapides Parish line here, so this is going to be for southern Natchitoches, and it looks like into parts of Grant Parish. But we do have 2 tornado warnings, so we are going to continue to kind of team coverage this as we have the one in northern wind that just can't weaken and move out soon enough, and then we have this other cell down here in southern Natchitoches Parish that's moving toward western Grant. So if you are in Colfax, I'm just taking a look at different products here, and we're just going to talk you through this as this storm really is starting to get some beefy inflow into it, and it's certainly rotating fairly quickly. The storm in northern wind parish, while the rotation is persistent, it doesn't look quite as nasty as it did just about 15 minutes ago, though it still has that rotation with it. So you're going to need to stay up to date on this. Stay right here with us. We're going to be sticking around, I think, for a good while here. I'm looking at the text on that warning for southwestern Grant and southeastern Natchitoches. This is radar indicated. This is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Hutton or 13 miles west of Lena. It's moving to the northeast. Now, I don't want to sound the all clear for Lena because we have occasionally seen these storms dive down to the southeast a bit, and I think you're saying they just issued it for Rapides, too.
There's a severe
that's tornado warning, yeah.
Tornado warning for southwestern Grant and southeast Natchitoches Parish.
And this tornado warning has been extended into extreme northeast Vernon and northwest Rapides. Right. So that is, again, if we see this turn to the right a little bit, if we see that storm kind of start to deviate from the mean flow a little bit more toward the east or east-southeast, I think this stays north of Alexandria, but it's going to be something to watch. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put this in motion and see what
Flatwoods, Lena, Boyce kind of area.
Flatwoods, Lena, Boyce, yeah.
Sharp communities up there.
Yep. And I'm going to go over and just check out the text on that tornado warning, just so we can go through and see exactly who all. Yeah, Hutton 230, Flatwoods 235, Lena around 240. This also, for those of you traveling, includes Interstate 49 between mile markers 99 and 109. And just for 1 second, I'm going to actually do another thing on the fly and pull up. I can't use this feed live, but I know there are some storm chasers in town, and I'm going to just have that up on mute here in the background. And there we go. Okay, so that way I will see if I see something, and that could give me at least kind of a window into what's going on out there. For now, we have 2 tornado warnings active in our area. That is northern wind parish, and then that new warning that's covering a lot of the area just northwest of Alexandria. And what I'm going to do here is quickly take a look at velocity. I don't want to sound the all clear by any stretch, but that is looking... that's looking a little weaker north of Winfield right there. So that supercell it certainly still has some rotation with it, but this one down here is quite impressive. Look at that inflow notch on this thing. My goodness. That is the cell. Let me get in closer so we can get some take a look and see some of these locations, which there really aren't any towns to speak of here until and you know what? Yeah, that's down toward Boyce, Lena, Flatwoods, way out here toward the east, but right now over a very rural area. I'm looking at the storm relative winds. I'm just looking to see if I see anything popping out here. And this is just that's your sheer swath. So that is, you can tell it's been kind of noisy. You got a lot of that green, but notice we also have this corridor from Hornbeck now off to the northeast, Hornbeck and Anacoco, and this is moving up toward Sharp and eventually toward Colfax, Hutton, those areas. That's where this rotation looks like it is starting. Had a little bit of a hiccup here, and now it's starting to increase once again. So if you are planning on traveling, I wouldn't do it. Somebody said in the chat that there was a tornado warning for Alexandria. This does not include Alexandria. So if you're out at the Coliseum, you don't have to seek shelter for this storm. I know you have a crowd of 5,000 in there, so there is a tornado warning for Rapides Parish, but this is probably about 8 to 10 miles away from you. Should stay to your north. If we see a warning reissued, then of course we can revisit that. But for now, you are looking okay. So that is that storm. Going to keep both of these in focus here, but you can see it's almost a similar looking amount of rotation, but remember, we're real low to the ground here because the radar site is only a few miles away. Up to the northeast, it looks a little more ragged, and it's further away. So we're looking maybe 4,000 or 5,000 feet up in this storm that is now right over Dodson and continuing to move to the east-northeast fairly rapidly at about 40 miles per hour. Zooming down on that, and you can see this is now past Dodson. It looks like it's on the southern edge of that warning, heading east out of Dodson. Let me try something here. Okay. All right. I'm going to come back down to this storm as that one is moving into a less populated area, and this one closer to home is it's certainly something that we're going to want to keep a close watch on as it's been strengthening as it moves toward the east-northeast. And I'm looking at several different views on the radar of this thing, and it is really, really looking pretty nasty right now. Now, fortunately, that has not carried over to the velocity signature, but that storm over southern Natchitoches Parish moving pretty much directly toward Colfax, Lena, Flatwoods, that area, crossing 49 between, I believe it was mile markers 99 to 109. That so far is the strongest storm of the day that we have seen. There is some strong inflow coming into that, and that means on the backside we're getting that rotation coming out, and it's a storm that bears watching and has a tornado warning on it right now. Just a second here, pulling up my chat to see if they have any confirmed reports or anything like that. Going to Shreveport.
Don't say anything on chat, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. So big game in town right now is the tornado warnings. We have two of those, one for Wynn Parish and one that covers parts of Rapides, Vernon, barely a little chunk of Vernon, and then southern Natchitoches and southwestern.
And the reason for that odd configuration is that that's from two offices. Well, that's from Lake Charles would be the Vernon and Rapides part. The Grant Parish would be from the Shreveport office.
Yeah, and that's he was just explaining how the two weather service offices, they come together, so that's why you get kind of that jagged edge on the warning. But they collaborate and they come together and they put these warnings out, and we get that data to you. Oops, want to make sure I'm quiet there. Okay, so let's take a broad picture view, make sure I'm not missing any other warnings. We have the one up there in Wynn Parish for Dodson, or areas east of Dodson, and I'll zoom in here. Sykes, you're about to get hit, it looks like, by possibly some small to maybe marginally severe hail. Not seeing a strong rotation signature, so obey the warning. You don't want to sleep on these today because they are quite intense, but this cell right here, this is the big show right now. And it looks like it's going to come up right through it. It's tough to say again, north of Flatwoods, but Gorham, and then eventually down the line, it depends on which kind of deviant motion we get out of this. If it deviates a little to the left, we could be up around Chopin, Janey, Gorham. You guys need to all seek shelter with this, as this is inflow punching in right here. That's why there's no precipitation in there, and that rotation just comes around the backside. So a very clear signature on radar, not the clearest on velocity as of now. Let me take a look at the storm relative. Sometimes that can kind of clear things up, and we're going to just have to keep an eye on this as it continues on toward the northeast. But so far, let me check debris, make sure I'm not missing something glaring. Hold on now. Got a little lowering of the... check that out, Tom. Watch... Okay, you see, got a little bit of a lowering of that west of Gorham. Let me see. It's not a strong signature, but
it's not too strong.
But we're gonna if this pops up next frame and we see that deepen and become a darker blue or something like that, then that is something we are going to take note of. So as of right now, I think that is perhaps just some noise we're seeing there, but that is one heck of a supercell that we are seeing right now with this storm in southern Natchitoches moving towards southwestern Grant Parish. So you're going to want to seek shelter. The updates should be coming out on the Facebook page. They should be coming out through the app. Everything you should be getting notified of all this stuff, but we're just going to stick with it because now we have tornado warnings out there, and these are active. And this storm right here looks pretty stout. I'm going to go and see tornado warning. Yep. Okay. Nothing new to report on that. Still the same tornado warning. The tornado warned storm in northern Wynn Parish continues to show rotation, although it's not as tight as it was before. This is the Wynn Parish storm that I'm talking about, not what I'm showing you. We have seen no sure signs of debris on our radar in association with that storm. So that's good news as that storm kind of exits our area to the northeastern Wynn Parish, but still a pretty healthy looking cell up there. Storm relative velocity, pretty quiet. Nothing jumping off the page at me. This one down here, though, this is the storm that we're really watching closely right now, and it's because of that vicious hook echo right there. We talk about a hook echo. That's what we're talking about. I mean, it doesn't get much more pronounced than that. This storm, let me put it in motion, see if it's turning it all toward the right. And it looks like it's pretty steady, kind of east-northeast there toward Colfax. So Colfax, eastern parts of Colfax are not in this warning, but you're gonna want to be prepared, as this thing really looks like it means business. In fact, you know what? I am going to pull one thing up real quick. You know what? Let's just go ahead and do that live. It's gonna go blank on you for a second. Going to the Skycam, and I'm going to move this toward the northwest. I have it facing toward the Coliseum right now, and what I'm going to do is move this just to see if we can take a peek at this storm and kind of see if we get any of the structure or anything like that. So let's see. Okay, that's about as far as I can go before I'm getting into the antennas and stuff. Certainly not seeing anything here, and I'm going to go a little bit further.
Looks like some of the details are hidden.
Yeah, and that's typical. That's Louisiana. I mean, you're going to be hidden from most of the detail in these storms. That's why it's so tough to chase Louisiana. But we are looking, that right there would be kind of looking up MacArthur toward Bulow Lake, and I'm going to pull it back just a little bit. And I'll revisit this should this pass a little bit closer. But yeah, this is the camera. This is on Texas Avenue looking toward the northwest at about 100 feet up off the ground. And you can see the wind is just humming out there. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to analysis mode. Again, it'll go, oh, it didn't go blank. That's good. Yeah, that thing, it looks like it's about to cycle. It could be kind of tucking that first bit of rotation in, and we might get another one to form on that western flank, and that would then...
And if that happens, that means you're dealing with a cyclic supercell, and that's bad news because folks back upstream from that would be in danger later on today, like through Eastern Grant and LaSalle parishes, and then points north and east.
Yeah, and this right now we're just kind of going through the products here, as this is now. There's some smaller communities as you get in closer. Some of them I've never heard of, but you get up here, Lena, Gorham, Flatwoods, Chopin, these areas right here. This is where this is going to continue to move on toward the east-northeast, and let me take a look at that. Well, Tom, I think we might have debris on this. Ooh, did we just have a flash there? Hopefully not. North of Gorham. Let me see how that lines up with everything. That is it's in that kind of rain-free zone. Let me know if NWS is saying anything about that. And let me see if
we're looking
TDS swath. Okay. Sheer rate. Okay, that is...
Not 100% is debris, but...
Okay, so they're aware of this. Just so if you're in that, Andy Cedars Road, that sounds familiar to you? Janie Gorham Road, those areas right there... between Gorham and Janie, we can't tell you for sure that's debris, but it's something that we're going to be watching closely.
And that would mean a tornado would be on the ground.
That means, yeah. And so this stuff, it can be an incredibly useful tool to look at, but I think this might be on the inflow side, so we're not calling it a confirmed tornado. It might just be in that clear air, kind of where that inflow is bringing things in, because that can bring in leaves and bugs and all stuff that would make the radar look kind of weird in this scenario. But you want to be careful. Let me pause real quick here so we can just...
There didn't seem to be continuity to it, so it must be pretty new.
Yeah, and it looked like there was a frame before where this was further south, and it kind of got tugged up into this inflow area. You know what? Real quick though, let me just go out, take a peek at the Wind Parish storm. This is exiting to the northeast. Man, that wind is just humming outside. Rotation not looking great. Yeah.
A lot of rural countryside there, maybe Sykes and Chester.
Yep.
Still in the hunt up there.
Yep, but this storm here, we're seeing a lot more lightning now. It certainly has rotation with it, although not showing up too crazy on the radar right now. Let me go again. I like to occasionally take a look at a different tilt. So we're going up to the Shreveport site, and you can see there is a mesocyclone. This is rotating aloft in the mid-levels. So this storm is rotating from the mid-levels down to the bottom. It's just the question is, do we have something on the ground?
Lake Charles just said it is.
It is on the ground.
2 miles west of Gorham.
2 miles west of Gorham. Confirmed tornado per the National Weather Service. Let's see. Let me go to Lake Charles.
That's Lake Charles saying that, not Shreveport. It's in Shreveport.
That's interesting, yeah. Oh, wait, I went to the wrong radar. Okay. So that would be TDS showing up roughly 2 miles west of Gorham. Close call on whether it will make it into Rapides. So, yeah, they are now calling this confirmed. That's why we just went purple with this. So a confirmed tornado warning here. This is, let's zoom in a little bit closer. I get the new data on this, and I'll get you that information as soon as we have it. Here we go. Cancels that. Continues this. I just want to get the freshest data I can possibly get here. Here we go. Severe thunderstorm, capable, that's old news. All right, so the text has not arrived just yet is what it's looking like. But that purple means there is a confirmed tornado. So yes, Colfax, you need to seek shelter ahead of this. The confirmed tornado warning is actually for, it's up in Shreveport's parish warning area.
They're saying at 2:42, a confirmed tornado was located over Lena.
Confirmed tornado over Lena, moving northeast at 45. This is a radar confirmed tornado. That's what we were looking at. It didn't look like it was definitive, but now it does appear that we have a debris ball between Gorham and Janie. If you're familiar with these areas out here, Sunk Hill Road, I'm going out ahead of it. Spurgeon Road, Sallard Road, Bay Springs Road, crossing I-49. You don't want to be on I-49 as this continues toward the northeast, toward Galbraith. Highway 1, confirmed tornado right here, and that is going to be heading toward the east-northeast. This is the Rapides Parish line. You can kind of see that jagged area right there. So this should stay north of the Rapides Parish line into southern Natchitoches, and then eventually possibly into Colfax. Well, now they've actually extended that warning down into extreme northern Rapides. That's just probably going to be a precautionary measure there. Let me put it in motion and see how things are looking. All right, so... And yeah, it looks like storms are actually starting to mature a little bit out ahead of this line now. So yeah, we kind of thought around 2 o'clock this would start to come together, and now we have confirmed tornado warnings in place. So the northeastern wind parish tornado warning continues, but that's moving out of the area. We're going to lock in on this right now. That is, and you know what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to take some of this lightning off, because that's just kind of, we don't need that. That way we can see better. The purple flashing area, that is a confirmed tornado warning. This is for Natchitoches Parish. It goes into Colfax. It goes into extreme southwestern Grant. And then it also goes into extreme northwestern Rapides. Now, if you are in extreme northwestern Rapides, the way this trajectory is looking, it could clip that area near Colfax, but I think especially back further on the western side of this warning, you know, you're looking like you are going to be in the clear on this. I'm just taking a look at some of the products we have here, see what that debris tracker is showing, and I'm going to put that in motion. And you know what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to take the laps down a little bit here.
I think this goes to 3 o'clock.
It goes until 3 o'clock. Okay. And you can see that is heading toward the east-northeast. That is your debris signature right there. Okay. So, again, between Janie Gorham Road, Bay Springs Road, Sunk Hill Road, just north of the Rapides Natchitoches Parish line, this is headed toward I-49. This is going to pass between Lena and Chopin. And they had said tornado over Lena. That can't be, because this is further west. Or was that what it said, or did I screw up there? Okay, that seems a little off. I'm just looking to see any sort of updates. Radar confirmed tornado. That's what we're going with. So let's do a little storm track out on this. What do you have? A 40-mile-per-hour speed. I'm going to pull the reflectivity back up, and we're going to do a track.
That came from NWS Shreveport.
Okay. NWS Shreveport was saying over Lena, but it looks to me like it's west of there. But again, we're not where it happened. That's obviously bad news, but we're trying to tell you out ahead of this where you need to seek shelter. And I'm going to go ahead and draw out a track about 40 miles per hour. And I'm going to need to up the density on this, but Colfax around 302. That's when the worst of this is going to pass through your area. So if you are in Colfax, if you are east of these confirmed tornado warnings, there's not a lot to slow this storm down. I mean, it was just sunny out here in Alexandria, so the air mass is very warm, very moist, very unstable. And that's going to be able to feed up into this storm here as it heads on toward the east-northeast, toward Colfax. And then eventually down the line, Dry Prong, Pollock, you're going to want to be ready for this storm as it moves toward the east-northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So let me pull that off.
A quick note, the wind parish tornado warning likely will not be extended into other parishes.
Always good to have a little bit of good news. I'm still monitoring the camera view to make sure we don't see anything. Excuse me. All right. Okay, so I'm going to check that debris once again. Still seeing a debris signature showing up. And yeah, I think that's the same one. This is, again, headed right toward I-49. So if you are traveling along I-49 and you're crossing from Rapides into Natchitoches Parish, that is where it looks like this is going to cross this potential tornado, which is confirmed. It's just a question of, is it still confirmed right now? And per what we're seeing on radar, it looks that way. Let me...
Well, and I see what you're talking about, the Lena thing.
Yeah.
Lena looks too far east.
Yeah, I don't see exactly why they were saying that, but so let's pull back here. Oops, let's pull back on this. take it off that crazy looking stuff and just, again, this is one of those days where you can see these storms that are developing down to the south. They're not really taking hold just yet, but they're not, these get that shape right off the bat. So we're seeing it's a highly sheared environment. All we need is for these storms to develop. And when that happens, that's when we see things happen quickly. And believe it or not, it kind of looks like these are training. I could see a flood threat developing. And I know that sounds ridiculous because we're so dry. But as these move toward the east-northeast, like I said earlier, you may get one storm, you may have damage, you may get a tornado. It doesn't mean you're immune from these other storms that are going to be coming through later on. So more storms, special weather statements down to the southwest. And right now, the big show would be this storm with the tornado warning that I'm sure is going to get reissued here pretty soon, going to be extended through Colfax. Let's take a look, see our latest scans. Just 1 second. Okay. Looks like I might have some noise on the radar. Well, the good news is we're not seeing a really tight wind shear couplet or anything. That's not something I would look at and pick out and say, hey, that's definitely going to be a problem right there. There is going to be some heavy rain on the west side of Alexandria. That's not...
It looked like the rotation was weakening as it headed eastward, northeastward.
All right, Tom's saying that...
Temporary.
He said it looked like the rotation was weakening. That, again, could be temporary because you could see one area of rotation kind of wrap up into the parent supercell, and perhaps this area back here then comes around, and we see things change pretty quickly. I'm going to take a look and see if we have had an update on the debris tracker. Yeah, it still looks like, that's not this. Sometimes you'll see just a big blue dot there in the shit. It's like a donut hole. We're not seeing that, but it's something going on there. So this area about to cross onto I-49 here. It is very close to the Rapides and Natchitoches Parish line. So if you're near I-49, near Rapides and Natchitoches Parish, right where they meet there, that is going to be an area that we're going to watch very carefully here over the next little while. And then it's going to head up into Colfax and Dry Prong. These areas, you're next. So you want to seek shelter now. You want to have your plan in place. If you are way out ahead of this system and have time to kind of get out of the way, say you're up in Gina. I can't say this is going to hold together that long, but you live in a mobile home and you want to get to somewhere more substantial. Now is the time to do that, not when the storm's 5 or 10 minutes away. So you're going to want to think about that plan right now. Heavy rain on the west side of Alexandria here, moving up. This may even be as close as the Coliseum.
An update from Shreveport says that it is likely there was at least a brief tornado, and that was around the community of Gorham.
Okay, so likely at least a brief tornado. They did allow that tornado warning to expire for Wynn Parish, as Tom said. And let's go ahead and take a look over at the Skycam right now, just to take a kind of a cruise around on that. And I've got it up here where I can move it. You can see out to the west, I was talking about the heavy rain. That's a pretty heavy rain shower there that's moving on toward the northeast. That is not a tornado or anything like that. It kind of has that scary, ominous look to it. That's not what we're looking at all there, but we are going to go a little further on toward the northwest view and just want to keep an eye on that, see if we see anything on that storm that is now pushing toward Colfax. Not seeing anything. So let's go ahead and take a look at the radar stuff once again, because that's really telling the story right now. We had a confirmed tornado right now. Not sure what exactly we have, but Tom, look at that storm. You can tell things are starting to develop here. And actually, as we get a cell merger here, that could reinvigorate this storm up over Grant Parish, and that could help.
That storm west of town is already rotating.
Yeah. Not much. That's been a very short time that storm has been firing up here, and we're already seeing some rotation in there with that. I am
check the CDR and see what the updraft tendency is doing.
That's the one west of Alexandria is really firing up, but you can see that the red kind of horseshoe right there. That's the updraft. So that's the storm that we're watching right now. Another one up here, that's where that confirmed tornado was. Then you can see the up and the downdraft in that one right there.
Put it in motion, see what's going on.
Putting it in motion to see what
look how quickly it came up.
Yeah.
So you've got a growing cell. that's a concern.
Yeah, absolutely. This is another storm to watch as it combines and joins forces with that storm to our north. Now, not seeing a big return on this right now, so debris tracker thankfully pretty much quiet, but we are watching. That's not debris down there. That's on the inflow side of that storm again, so we are not worried about that putting down a tornado right at this moment.
There's still a reflectivity core up there, though.
What's that, in the Grant Parish storm? Okay.
Up in right Colfax area, as you can see,
Man.
pretty good reflectivity core there.
Yeah. And then more storms pop into the southwest. So we so far have not seen these storms east of the main line really take root, although it looks like that's about to change. But along that line from Wynn Parish and Grant down through Leesville, down through Vernon Parish, Jasper, Newton County, Texas, we have seen this. So these storms are really starting to get cranked up, and it looks like we are going to be here for a little while discussing this all with you. I want to take a closer look here and just kind of lock in on these two. And I wanted to see the storm. I mean, it's what I'm going to do is pull that camera back up and just take a look out on that storm to our west. Just 1 second. Okay, let's go back and look a little bit more toward the west as that heavy rain continues to fall. This is that storm that is pretty much right down 28 west of Alexandria. And, yeah, see that rain kind of sweeping down the backside. It's a nice view of it. I mean, should something start to develop, we'll be able to see it right here. Let me see. I'm just kind of taking a look and making sure I'm not missing anything here. This is, we are looking west from Texas Avenue. We are looking west. You can see the Coliseum right there. And you can see this is the backside of that thunderstorm. And I'm actually going to go back to radar just because I want to make sure that we're, first off, not getting any warnings. And second off, well, I got Tom here. He'd tell me that. But I want to make sure we're not seeing a real uptick in this thing.
Got another cell coming through southern Sabine headed into Natchitoches Parish that is being watched. No warning yet.
Okay, base. Man, that's actually a really nasty shape on that storm right there. Actually, Tom, I'm going to have you slide in here for a second, and what I'm going to do is I have my buddy just called, and he goes out, and he's probably chasing right now. So I'm going to see if he called, so that might means he saw something. I'll let you slip into this chair.
Hey, folks. Nick's doing such a good job. I hate to replace him, but he's going to go check something out related to the warning situation. So we continue to monitor things here across the area. And let's see. I'm not as familiar with the setup as he is, but I'll get it going. I'll put this into motion, and we can continue to see some training. We got more storms, what we call back upstream, coming in toward the Sabine River Valley into western Vernon Parish. That is moving toward the east and northeast. You saw a little box appear right here in Vernon Parish. This is a special weather statement type box indicating that, hey, this is something coming. There is a little bit of a hail or wind threat, but there's not anything as far as a definitive warning. Nothing that can hold your hat on to produce a warning, but it is a candidate for a warning. It's being watched very closely, and if the trends continue, I would probably guess that a warning would be issued on that for the time being. And we're looking back up to the north, into the southern part of Natchitoches Parish, where we do have that confirmed tornado warning over in that particular area. Let's see. Let me come down and kind of clear things off a bit. Let's see. There we go. Okay. let's stop the motion there. What we're going to have come in is looks like a warning has already been reissued there. So let me take a look at that. Let's see. Okay, this is a tornado warning now. This is a new one for 4 o'clock for into LaSalle Parish. Sorry for the county there, as Nick had said, for LaSalle Parish, and it also includes portions of Eastern Grant. So this is a continuation of the previous storm that we saw earlier on. Put that back into motion where we see the storm continue move to the east and toward the northeast across central and south Grant. Covers most of Grant Parish, in fact, but the more dangerous part is located there across South Grant as that heads toward the east-northeast. We're also watching that storm just to the north of Alexandria. That storm is going to merge with that storm complex there in South Grant, I think, if it can catch up with it. It's trying its best. So far, we don't see any warnings really on that particular cell. So let me go back to the alerts and put those up. We got a special weather statement there indicating that, okay, well, not a severe storm yet, but it is maybe a candidate. It'll be watched, so we'll put out a special weather statement, if you will, for a possibility, probably a little hail and some strong wind with it, and note some rotation. So any time that could go to a tornado warning. It's not yet, but as you know, on a day like today, it is possible. So don't let your guard down. We don't want to overwarn you, but again, it is a possibility. The real warning still continues up across Grant. That was the cell which I think is going to cycle and head into Eastern Grant and into LaSalle parishes here within the next time period through about 4 o'clock. So about the next hour. Tornado warning for South Grant and much of LaSalle Parish from about the north side of Catahoula Lake northward. So that gives you an idea. If you're south of Catahoula Lake, you're okay. You're not in the threat area. But if you're around Catahoula and north, you are in the tornado warning. And this is a situation that there has been a tornado. National Weather Service confirmed that tornado around Gorham. At least a brief touchdown. Could be more. They'll do a survey, but at least a brief touchdown at that particular time. That storm, of course, now has moved to the east-northeast and is affecting Grant and has prompted a warning for Grant and LaSalle parishes. Looking otherwise into Natchez Parish, we continue to see some storms south of Natchez toward Bellwood. That's moving to the east. Watching that for a possible warning as well. And then we have that warning for looks like Vernon Parish now, a severe thunderstorm warning just issued, I believe, for that. So let's see. It's not giving me the advisory. Let me look over here.
Yeah, the warning for Vernon.
Yeah.
Yeah, add it up.
Okay, that's for a potentially severe thunderstorm around Burteville. That's moving east-northeast into Vernon Parish. And so we're looking at that warned area, including the city of Leesville. This is for the possibility of some hail and some strong wind over in that area. Okay, looking further on, we continue to see that tornado warning issue. Let's see. I hit the alert. Let me see, hit the clear. There we go. And the storm in North Rapides looks like it's going to be crossing the Grant Parish border soon and coming up probably toward about Pollock. Looking a little closer in, Let's see, let me zoom into this a little closer. I think this is the area where the warning was prompted to the east of Colfax. You can see just kind of a pattern where there is some rotation. It's not as notchy as it was earlier. Let's see. Check out the
I'm looking at the sky camera, not seeing
Yeah.
anything on the Selling Rapids.
yeah. I don't see anything on the CC there. Around Highway 71, 167, nothing happening there. The base velocity, don't see anything scary. Then the storm relative, likewise. So we go back out on a little bit of a larger view and put the warning back in. There we go. So we have a little special weather statement, which includes much of the Alexandria-Pineville metro. But that storm, as you can see, is pretty much running away from that bulletin. So it's going to be crossing into Grant Parish. So I think much of Alexandria-Pineville, we're looks like we're doing okay. It's getting windy, but that may not be associated with the storm, because we have low pressure forming to the northwest of us. The pressure gradient or difference is tightening up across the area, so that's driving or forcing the wind to form regardless of whether there's a storm or not. Just an indication that we're dealing with an active weather pattern, strong weather system. So the tornado warning continues in an area to the north of us, and let's get down and we'll kind of see who may be affected by this. Dry Prong is in the warned area. Colfax is, but I think the worst of it has kind of passed you by as well. And going into, looks like 167 is in the warned area. So again, that's a confirmed tornado warning until 4 o'clock. Then until 7 o'clock is the tornado watch, which means there's potential for tornadoes there. Okay. All right. So 165, we're looking at over toward Hunter Ridge Road toward Antonia. Looks like Guy Cemetery, Walker Road, Dyson Creek Road, Mary Barron Road, South Tower Road, Dyson Creek Road, still indicated in the warned area there. All right. So basically, in Grant Parish, the easy way to do this is to just say, if you're in Central and South Grant, and you're just east of Colfax on Highway 71, 167, 165, and you're in the tornado warning, and then kind of heading on up into the Gina area, we're seeing that warning encompassing all the part of, again, the area. If you're around Catahoula Lake and north, you're in the tornado warning. If you're south of Catahoula Lake, you're okay. So that's the only active tornado warning at the present time. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning further to the southwest, including portions of Vernon Parish. This is coming out of Texas. We're monitoring that for any severe potential. In fact, let me check out and see if there's any late information on either of these. I'm thinking that there could be a little uptick in some of the rotation with this. Hold on. There may be an uptick in the rotation here in this sail out to the west of Leesville area. So get a little closer look at that. This is out Highway 6 west of town, west of Leesville. Of course, you know where that is. And then looking back up at the tornado warned area, we're continuing to see. Let's see, I think we got a new bulletin there. Okay, I think that's just a continuation of the tornado warning. The box has been configured a little bit differently. The flashing box was the original warning. The other box is the continuation warning. So essentially the continuation warning, as you can see here, is again for Grant Parish till 4 o'clock, but it's outside of, just to the east of Colfax, I would say. In fact, the storm's clearly well east enough. Colfax is not in the tornado warning anymore, but points east into Grant Parish and 165, Highway 167, continue to be in the warned area, as well as LaSalle Parish. So we're watching that storm closely. The Rapides Parish storm that was west of town has moved fairly quickly into South Grant now. Still got that little horseshoe shape to it, so it's still rotating, but no warnings on that.
To take a peek. I was facing it pretty much due north, and I just wanted to see. Down here, and if you go into Showcrow,
Oh, okay.
and just click on that. Yeah, that's. I wanted to see what it looked like on the big screen. That's looking north toward that storm.
Okay. Toward the one that was out toward the Coliseum.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think the folks at the Coliseum, I think I saw some comments on that. I think they're okay right now. I think that storm has moved away to the northeast, and it's in Grant Parish now. So things are looking up, at least temporarily, over in that direction. Okay, so we're back into analysis mode. We're watching the Vernon Parish storm, and still has a severe thunderstorm warning there, still a tornado warning for Grant Parish. Again, basically most of Grant Parish from about Williana and Georgetown south to a point of around the Pollock area, and just south of there toward Baghdad, I would say, is in the tornado warning. So again, most of this, what I would call the central and southern portion of Grant Parish, and then all of LaSalle above Catahoula Lake and their warning area. Pretty nasty storm still in central Natchez, not prompting anything yet, but I'm not sure. I think it's going to try something later on. That's kind of been the trend, and some of these are producing locally heavy rain, over 1 3/10 inches in Manny when this came through there, quickly, that is. And then looking into Vernon Parish, still don't see anything alarming at this particular time. And we still have that little special weather statement over the Alexandria Pineville Metro that could be taken down. That's old news. And looks like, I don't know, this warning in Vernon Parish and still superimposed on the special weather statement there. But I would say the warning takes precedence and outlines the threat better, or outlines the area that's affected, will be affected better. Nick, any news from your friend?
Here, I'll jump back on there. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't want to yell across. Yeah, I have my friend. He's out chasing, and he had a kind of a view into what we're looking at here, and actually had a view of on the camera. But he's heading north toward that, and then just as the chase plan would go for me, I would just kind of hang out, check out that storm, let it pass me, and then wait on that next one, because I think this one down here toward Leesville, that's going to mature over the next little while here.
Over Burr Ferry.
Burr Ferry, there you go. Burr Ferry out there. If you're heading, as I do many a time, out Leesville toward Jasper on our way to College Station. Yes, I have a kid that goes there. We won't talk about football right now, though, because I know I'll get in trouble. But looking at the tornado warning now we haven't, I was looking at stuff. It just did not look like this was strengthening, so that's very good news right there. This is still a they tag it as a confirmed tornado, but I'm assuming we're going off some old information there, so not seeing anything jumping out at us right now. That special weather statement, like Tom was saying, that can go away, but now we're just kind of waiting on the next one in the line here as these thunderstorms continue to kind of train across the same areas. And speaking of that, let me take a look, see what we've had over the last 6 hours on rainfall estimates, because this is where you kind of start to get that potential to see some flooding issues. Let me query this real quick. So not bad. Inch and a half, 1.2. You said you had a weather watcher with a 1.3.
At least 1.3. Probably rained a little after that.
Yeah, and I think these numbers might be running a little bit light here, but just another thing to sorry about that. Another thing to think about in this is, yes, we've been incredibly dry, but there, I'm better. We've been incredibly dry, but to get all that rain at once is not a good thing. So that's not what we are looking for. Man, that wind is sure kicking up out there, probably 20 to 30 miles per hour, pretty steady out of the south. And let me go ahead and zoom on this for you and show you the storm that is now probably producing some small hail, definitely producing a lot of heavy rainfall between Dry Prong and Pollock. This did have a tornado, and we certainly could see, as this cell moving up from Rapides Parish, as that combines and kind of joins forces here, we could see that creating a new set of issues here. So we'll be watching that very closely as well, especially up there near Pollock.
Just in the low 30s at the airports.
Yeah, that makes sense. We got a sky full of pecan leaves out here. Let's see. So this is our tornado warning now. That includes LaSalle. That includes parts of Grant Parish. If you're out around Colfax, you're in the clear right now, but there are more storms coming, and it looks like our and as a matter of fact, real quick here, we can go ahead and take a look at the latest high-resolution model just to kind of take you through, and that's an old look at what we had going on there on the Skycam. Here is what we have. You can kind of see how these storms are lining up. This is showing the future cast. This is like your future radar here. So as we step through things, the storm over Vernon Parish probably going to be the one that really starts to impact us here in Alexandria. We get some potentially some severe weather out of that here, and these kind of, it looks like about 2 or 3 hours in any given spot where you can see a real stormy period, and then things do move on. And once these storms move through, what I think is going to happen as they gradually do that is we will still have the cold front to deal with, but by that time, there's not going to be a lot of instability left over. These storms are going to do the work on that, and that is going to probably keep those from being severe. So our highest severe threat is from now until about 8 o'clock. I was looking at this, Tom. Look at how we get some... Yeah. I mean, just, your individual cells, lots of them, and I think we certainly have that severe threat lingering after dark tonight.
And I was kind of looking at the environment available as far as the standpoint of shear and energy, and it looks like over the next 4 hours is going to be the peak.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we still have a couple more hours of sunshine, and then we lose the sun, but we also pick up a little bit on the dynamic end of things, and so that's going to make that wind energy, that wind shear, that is certainly going to be something that could sustain storms even with a little less instability. I'm trying to find where I was here. Okay, we got it. All right, let's go to reflectivity and take a peek there. Thunderstorms in a line pretty much from about Gina through Pollock, Dry Prong, then southern Natchitoches Parish around Chopin. You are seeing this, and then back toward Anacoco and Hornbeck. Asking about Natchitoches, have you seen the worst of it? I think so. I think, I can't clear these areas out of the watch or anything like that. I do think the worst of it's going to be along this initial surge, though. We will get other things to develop out here. This is the Fort Polk radar, so it's not going to go out as far. Let me take a look and see if we're seeing more on the Shreveport radar. But yeah, I mean, there are other storms to the northwest and everything, and I think we'll see a few more scattered storms form out here. But this right here, that's your main kind of prefrontal convergence line that's way out ahead of the cold front, and that's where we're going to see those heavier thunderstorms. If you have not seen storms yet, you still have a really good chance to see some severe weather. If you have seen it, it's not definite you're not going to, but your chances are getting a little bit lower as that cooler, more stable air comes in behind these thunderstorms. So for now, we have 2 active warnings. I've got my chat up here just to make sure we're not... they're trimming the watch. Yeah, they're about to trim some off that watch. Now, that doesn't mean it's for our area, but that's coming out of the National Weather Service in Shreveport. Yeah, broad rotation will move roughly 4 miles south of Burr Ferry. That was 8 minutes ago. Let's go ahead and take a look in closer on that. Let me... well, I say that, and I noticed this real quick. Let me hold off on the Burr Ferry storm. Up here on our tornado warning, this is the storm. This is where we had that cell moving in from Rapides Parish, and this combined with that. I don't see anything right off the bat here. Don't worry about that's not what we look for when we're looking for debris. Like when we see a blue area like this here, that's more just inflow again. Like I said, pecan leaves, maybe some twigs or something like that. So not seeing debris there, but it looks like we are starting to see a little bit more of a notch there where that storm had gone in.
And you're getting a cell merger.
Yeah, getting that cell merger, and sometimes that can kind of ramp things up here. So if you are in western LaSalle, southeastern Grant Parish, you want to stay tuned. You want to keep an eye on this, as there is a tornado warning. So you should already be in your shelter, be in your safe place. And then this storm down here, this is what I was going to initially go take a look at. Let me pause that. Actually, what I'm going to do is pull this lapse back out to where it goes for an hour so it's not as choppy. And then we can see that there is no strong, I'm not really seeing anything jumping out at me, and we're close enough to the radar where we should be able to see, should we have something worth really talking about there. But a severe thunderstorm warning nonetheless. That includes Burr Ferry, Leesville. I believe that would get out to Fort Johnson, and then areas north and northwest of Leesville. Let's specifically see who we got in the warning here. Anacoco, you are just barely in it. Hawthorne, and then Toro, you are right on the edge of that warning. So this is a severe thunderstorm. These could quickly become tornadic. You can see we already have another one down there south of Jasper. That's a familiar area. That's the area we've just kind of been seeing storms develop, it seems like, all day long. And now that I'm looking at this, what I'm going to do is zoom in on another little, as I call them, kidney beans, just around Forest Hill there. And if that one were to erupt, that could be maturing as it approaches our area. So this is the next one we're watching here, kind of ahead of the main line. But for now, the biggest storms are off to our north and northwest with some heavy rainfall, gusty winds, and possibly, at least earlier, they did say a possible tornado around Gorham. So, they said confirmed. So we will have to, we'll have to.
At least a brief touchdown.
A brief touchdown there. Right now, it looks like any sort of area of interest is going to be right around Pollock there at 165, and I believe that's Highway 8. Patterson Street if you're living in town there, and then out toward Fishville. That is where this storm is going to continue to move toward the east-northeast, right along the southern edge of that warning is what it looks like. Got a little bit of an appendage on this. Sometimes that is indicative of where we see some of the more severe weather coming out of these storms.
Yeah, they hadn't completely absorbed that former Rapides storm yet.
Nope. All right, let me see. See if I got any. Yeah, I have my friend who's chasing is heading into Pollock right now. And he said the base is much lower than it was because it was a pretty high looking base when it was here. So he said that has lowered some. So if you are up around Pollock, he's not seeing anything on the ground right now. Again, only one guy. But thanks to Adam for being out there and chasing and doing this. And I'm trying to get it to where I can have his feeds up here on the live stream here if we... if I'm able to work that. When my tech support stepson shows up next week, or no, gosh, tomorrow, he can help me with that. Yeah, I'm losing track of time here. Here's our severe thunderstorm down around Leesville. This is getting pretty close to the radar site, so it's looking a little wonky, but still a severe thunderstorm there. Still not seeing strong rotation with that, but you get the general idea. Let's bring it out to the broad picture and do this. Just this general motion of everything is toward the east-northeast. It is slowly sagging down toward the southeast as well. So we've got this one that's pushing into LaSalle out of Grant Parish. And then this next one here in Natchitoches, it's going to just be a little further south. And then this storm in Vernon probably going to impact northern Rapides here in the next hour or so. So it all depends on what these storms do with the environment they're given. We also have these small cells that are trying to develop. This one moving up near Woodworth. That's going to bring you a brief heavy rain burst probably in the next minute or so, and it's not going to last long at all. But yeah, those
that storm's look like the rotation's increasing.
Which one? The northern? Woodworth? Let's see.
Yeah.
I like to do that with the velocity off, storm relative. Let's do that. Yeah, there's a little something with it. It's just so shallow right now.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
weak.
It's not able to kind of grab onto everything, and that's great news because on this path we would have a familiar track around here that we don't want to see again. And I'm just moving the camera here while I have a second so I can keep an eye on that one. I'm going to turn it toward the south. That's the beauty of these cameras. I'm able to do this. And yes, I'm still in the process of adding several more, but there is a process that goes into this. So trust me, I am trying, folks. I want to get 20 up by the end of next year. So I'll be begging for help on that at some point, I'm sure. Looking toward the, I'm going to run into the, problem is you run into the tower. So we'll just have to wait until this one passes by. Actually, yeah, well, that's what we'll do. We'll wait for that to pass on by. Alrighty. Got another text. Just want to make sure he's not seeing something crazy. Just watching his videos as they come in. Yeah, a lot of little low-hanging scud with this storm to our north. That is the one that's moving toward Gina. And I'm just watching the video to make sure we're not seeing anything. Nope, that is just some low-hanging scud right there. All right. So, yeah, we still have a tornado warning for Grant and LaSalle Parish. That tornado warning goes until 4. It is 3:27. I think they'll be trimming this back chunk of that off here very soon. That is for a confirmed tornado that I don't see as confirmed any longer.
Yeah, it looks like that. What's flashing is the original warning.
We've got that new.
Trim to the other one, and I think they'll trim it further before 4.
Yep. That is going to happen. It looks like here fairly soon. So still a tornado warning. Still not seeing intense rotation with that. But we're just here to keep you posted on all this stuff. It says trimmed up the severe, no other changes. Okay. I'm looking to see if they've pulled any of the... Yeah, so they did trim the tornado watch. But they kept Grant, LaSalle, Natchitoches, Sabine, Wynn, all of our parishes. But you can see here on the map now, they trimmed that tornado watch down to DeSoto, Red River, Jackson Parish, those areas, Caddo, Bossier, you're out of it now. So further to the north, if you watch this, you are out of the tornado watch. The severe threat is much lower. And now we're just kind of focused on this one little line of storms that just continues to parade on through the area. Looks like a little uptick here west of Leesville, maybe a little bit of a hail threat there. Let me pop that up. No. Yeah, still not seeing anything that really jumps out as this being something tornadic or imminently a threat to become tornadic. looking up at our storm here where there is a tornado warning where we had that cell merger. It's an interesting looking storm, but right now I don't know if it didn't have the history it had, if they would have a warning on it. So, taking a second to reset and look at things. Okay, hold up. Let's see another picture that he had sent me. Just some low-hanging scud, it looks like. Low clouds. It'll look really turbulent with this, but I'm not seeing anything that indicates any sort of imminent danger on radar or per what I'm seeing from a chaser that is in that area right now. Again, we watch these little feeder cells that'll come up into it and see what that brings, but for right now, I'm not seeing any confirmed stuff on the ground, so that's we'll take whatever good news we can get. Maybe a little bit of a hail signature showing up there moving into Leesville, as that storm is intensifying a little bit. Got the pink core showing up there, and that is on Highway 8 west of Leesville, crossing 171. We also have another cell out here in Newton County, Texas, where they've just been forming all day long. And the tornado watch does continue in those areas out toward southeast Texas. So,
according to the MRMS data, it looks like the hail threat heading into LaSalle Parish is increasing.
okay, so Tom was saying the hail threat increasing into LaSalle. Let me go ahead and take a look at something. All right. Whoops. Okay, these are basically, this is going to give us data on the storm. Moving to the east at 40. Yeah, that is a 90% chance of having hail with a 20% chance of severe hail at about 1 inch in diameter. And the BTI is at 4.5. So that is a scale of 1 to 10 you're going to see us referring occasionally. And if it gets close to 10 and you have a tornado warning, you probably have a tornado on the ground. It's just another one of those indicators we look at that is generated by this system. It's called the Barron Tornado Index. But we are definitely seeing a high threat for hail with this, especially on the south side of Gina. If you are anywhere, Bela community, south side of Gina, you are probably seeing at least pea to marble sized hail, with the potential of that being a little bit larger. And as they're saying, there's a 20% chance up to 1 inch.
Yeah, and it looks like the trend is increasing.
Okay, so it is an increasing trend on that one. Let me see if we have any other interesting areas to take a look at. I don't believe that one's going to be too crazy. Yeah, just another slight chance for hail. Probably not happening near Hornbeck. But, okay, so hail potential with that storm is coming up a little bit. And there is still a tornado warning that is mainly going to be for areas of extreme southeastern Grant and northern half of LaSalle Parish as this storm continues to move on toward the east or east-northeast. Looks like we got a little update. Yeah, max DBZ at 69. When we're getting above 60, that is saying something. So now they're saying this storm probably has severe hail. And like you were saying, it's on an uptick. The hail potential size up to 2.25 inches. So this could be some damaging hail now moving into or along the south side of Gina, Bela, that area. If you're downstream from this, you haven't seen the hail yet and you can safely do so, it wouldn't be a bad time to go ahead and garage those cars. That's the area. Let's zoom in here and show you where we're possibly seeing some of that larger hail. Let me actually clear this out. Alonzo Road, Nebo. If you're in the Nebo community, you could be seeing some hail pretty soon or right now. Ridge Road, Sharptown, Fellowship. These areas, Guide Road. I don't travel the back roads that often. I'm trying to see what that one is there, coming south out of Gina toward Nebo. But if you're in the Nebo area between there and Gina, this is the area where it looks like we have the most intense hail signature right now. Let me see. Yeah, that's right on in there. This is one of our hail products that's showing that hail is at least possible there between Nebo and Gina and we want to look into the future too. This is going to be crossing right in between those two areas here over the next few minutes. And that's your hail swath showing the increase in intensity as this moved through Pollock, where you probably didn't see hail, and then you can see that big pulse up there on the southwest side of Gina. So that is most certainly a storm to hide from, if at all possible. Get the cars in the garage.
Yeah, especially since the trend has been upward.
Yeah, it's trending upward, and
And it can trend upward pretty quickly.
yes, and I mean, just to see what we saw in that little skit was what we call them. I mean, it was showing that we had an inch possible, and then it was already up to 2.25 by the next scan just a few minutes later. And it looks like we're darkening up here a little bit right at the house, and so this shower doesn't look like much, but a heavy rain shower going to move close to Alexandria or right over top of us here in the next few minutes. But big show right now is off to our north and northeast. I don't know. I guess they didn't reissue that warning. Let me pull this up. The Vernon Parish warning has expired. Trimming up. Yeah, not seeing any sort of reissuing coming on that. Cancels. Yeah, they canceled that at 3:33, so 2 minutes ago. So that's good stuff. Let's hope we can cancel this warning for LaSalle, which I think they'll at least have a severe thunderstorm warning because, again, that hail is looking like it would be pretty sizable. Yeah, 2.25. Yeah, that's a.
The boxes are not updated yet, but the tornado warning remains for LaSalle Parish only.
Tornado warning. Okay, so yeah, and it did. It actually, again, the confirmed tornado thing is still there, which I wish we could get rid of that. But that's the new tornado warning that is not confirmed. That includes Gina, and again, that area to the south of Gina is definitely a big hail threat, and the rotation. We're kind of in no man's land here on the radar, especially out here, because you got to think you're in between Fort Johnson and Jackson, Mississippi, and New Orleans and Shreveport. You're in the middle of this stuff, so you're probably looking. Let's see, I can tell you exactly. Yeah, about 4,000 feet up in the storm here is as low as you can get. So that's what we're seeing. Up there, we're seeing kind of a little bit of noise here on the south end, but not seeing a real structured low-level rotation, but definitely keeping an eye on that. And what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to do one thing here just to take a look, since this has a pretty significant hail core in it. One thing we're able to do is kind of cut a slice through these storms, and then I can go up and we can just take a look. And you can see the top there is spiking up to close to 50,000 feet. That is a very hefty hail core that is aloft, and then you can see that hail core descending on the backside. So that's hail, probably, most likely that's hail, and pretty large hail up aloft at about 15,000 feet above the freezing level, and that's going to fall out, and that's why we're seeing likely hail in excess of an inch in diameter out of this storm. So,
and the trend is continues to increase.
It continues to increase. In fact, I'm going to put this in motion and see if I can see that. It just pops in there, so I can't. But I am able to move through it, and we can kind of see, and I can do this. I can kind of pivot around, and yeah, that's a real honest-to-goodness hail core right there, and that's going to likely fall out of this storm as it continues on toward the east-northeast. So let's go back to the
Basically
regular
between
stuff.
Gina and Catahoula.
Gina and Catahoula Lake, yeah. I mean, right there, that's where your hail's going to be. If you are in that area, you not only have the hail threat, but a tornado threat. They have taken the confirmed tag off of this tornado warning, but it is something that you want to respect because this is the kind of day where we can see some issues from these storms. This is, again, not debris. This is inflow bringing in some leaves and whatnot. So that's going to provide a little bit of an odd look to the radar, but I'm not seeing any glaring, hey, there's a definite tornado here or anything like that. So that's good news for us. I'm going to take a look at the details on this storm, and there is a little bit of rotation in this one. That's the next one that's going to be moving into southwestern Vernon Parish over the next little bit here.
According to the MRMS data, we're looking at increasing rotation with that South LaSalle cell.
The South LaSalle cell. Let me go ahead and take a look at that.
So we've got an increase in rotation and
then the hail,
potential.
yeah. So yeah, I did see there was a little bit of an uptick. Yeah, that actually looks a little better. Let me zoom in closer so we can hit some of these areas and show you. You're not in the warning in Jonesville, but down the line here, this is the area we're talking about right here, where the reds and greens come together. That is something that we are going to be watching for the potential of rotation as the potential of a tornado as we have a tornado warning. This is the rotation right there. There's no potential there.
Yeah, I don't think we're looking at extreme hail there, like you said, probably an inch.
Yeah. It's sometimes, it'll say 2.5, but that
Yeah.
might mean a loft way up there. We're seeing that. But I do notice the BTI now is up to 5. So.
Yeah, and as warm as it is, you'll get melting.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Top of that storm, at least per this, is 38,600 feet. Nice tall storm. And we do have most likely some hail falling, and really the main story is the rotation now is ticking up just a bit. So if you are in this area that is south of Gina around Bela, you're going to want to seek shelter as a tornado warning is in effect. Let me zoom down and show you some areas just upstream that are kind of next in line here. But yeah, Nebo, Sharptown, and then over toward Walters, up toward Whitehall, right there along the Highway 84 corridor, and then that's 84 to 28. That's out by Texaco Town. I don't. Yeah, that's where those two meet up there. Yeah, Archie, Walters, all that area. So if you're in that area, if you're on the north side of Catahoula Lake, this storm is rotating. It's probably producing hail, and right there at that 84-28. Junction, that's where it looks like we have some potential for some hail and some rotation, and that area up here near Whitehall, you're kind of next in line to see that as well. So tornado warning continues until I believe 4 o'clock. I need to go look at the Jackson. Yeah, I got it, because now we're switching into Jack. Oh yeah, now that looks a little more. Yeah, hold on one second. Yeah, there's some contaminated data with that. That's why we're seeing some of that purple and stuff, and it just, they don't know if they're going to continue the tornado warning onto the east. Let me just make sure. My friend who was in Pollock, I know the road network can get messy out that way. I'm going to see if he's still on it. Yeah, there was definitely an uptick in shear, and I don't know if that's a product of the contaminated radar data, but...
Well, Jackson mentioned side lobes.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it looks like it's a little weaker there. Yeah, that's definitely some contaminated data that's coming in there. Let me take a look at the Shreveport product and see, because again, we're out here where it's tough to really see this stuff up close, and we have a shear marker on it. So seeing that shear marker shows me that at least the Shreveport radar is picking up on something, but it does not look. This isn't something that I can definitively say either way, but there is a tornado warning, so you're going to want to exercise caution, be careful, stay safe, all that good stuff. Looking back to the west, more storms continue to fire up, but we have not seen. We had that one really stout supercell just off to the northwest of Alexandria that moved through Colfax and Gorham, confirmed tornado in that area. That's why we still have this box here, but that's about out of that area. Now it's a lot of heavy rainfall. Let me pull up the lightning data. Yeah, you're getting a good bit of lightning with these storms, especially that LaSalle Parish storm. That thing is full of lightning. Let's go ahead and get a count on that. And actually, it looks like there's a pretty good hail core right along Highway 84, east of town, between there and Jonesville.
Which would explain the lightning.
Yeah. 166 strikes. I believe that's the last 15 minutes. So, and that's over a very small area. That's most certainly a loud storm that's impacting Gina and areas to the south, and that's going to move on toward the east-northeast, toward Jonesville, between there and Harrisonburg. What do we got? Warning, new warning, severe thunderstorm. Okay, we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning, so they did not go with a tornado warning. This is in effect until 4:45. This includes Concordia Parish and Catahoula Parish, at least the northern parts of those parishes, for, I would assume, damaging hail. Oops.
Yeah, up to $half size.
Yeah.
Which is bigger than the standard quarter size for the standard warning.
Yeah. Let me see.
Tornado. Is that a tornado warning?
The...
Or is that, or, oh, that's still going. Okay.
Let's see.
It looked like it just came on.
Oh, the purple?
Yeah.
I don't know why the special weather statement's still here. It's got to go away. Okay. All that aside, this is the storm we are. Look at all that lightning, man. That's crazy. And in the comments, please do let us know if you're seeing hail, if you have any sort of damage to report. Can't keep up with it all right now, but we do like those to go out just because that allows people that are in your area, or maybe you say, hey, I had $50 size hail in Gina, and someone 5 miles east of there then can say, oh, okay, I'm going to pull the car in, I was going to leave it out, whatever. So just, all that information helps. It's why I didn't strictly go to YouTube with all this stuff. I wanted to keep things to where we had that social aspect and people could kind of get together and crowdsource this information. And while I can tell you what I think could happen, you can you can come together and help each other out.
And in a related manner, see if you can put up the local storm reports. If there are any, Shreveport was just calling for the warning. Now has been continued for LaSalle Parish as expected, but then they're now calling for golf ball size hail.
Okay, storm reports. This is where I said. There we go. LSR. I don't see any storm reports popping in. No, I can turn off the warnings. No, not seeing any. Got a low level, or not a low level lock, but we do have a rotational signature showing up on this cell. Again, I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a product of that contamination we're seeing with the radar data. Storm relative looks pretty good, but it's. You want to treat this like it has a potential tornado. You want to be safe with this, and you want to get as many walls between you and the outside as you can. If you do live in a mobile home and you see this is far enough away to where you can get to a more substantial structure, that is going to be key, because even if we see straight line winds of 60, 70, 80 miles per hour, that could cause you some pretty big damage. So let me go back to the radar, pull up the warnings once again. There we go. Okay, so yeah, this back here, that is all done. The tornado warning is mainly for eastern LaSalle, southeastern LaSalle Parish. Well, I guess east central LaSalle Parish. That's your best chance to see that. And then the hail, that's going to be a big threat too. Let me go ahead and see what this says here. That's the shear marker that we are kind of checking out there. So still, 1.5 inch diameter hail, I would pretty much cut that in half, just because I think these run a little hot. This one might even be larger. No, 1.5 inch still. Okay, so yeah, hail's going to be a threat. We do have that rotation. BTI is around 5, which is right in the middle of the scale. So that does not mean you're safe, but it's better than seeing that at an 8 or a 9 or a 10, because that's when we really think that these could be producing tornadoes. So clear some of this off. Get you out of here. I'd love to see that confirmed tornado warning go away, because it's just not anymore.
Yeah, you got about 13 minutes.
13 minutes to sit here and complain about it. How about that? Yeah, still seeing some.
The shear still looks.
Yeah, and I think the radar, that last radar scan looked pretty clean, so I have no complaints there from the data standpoint.
I would support that tornado warning. Folks in that area should take that seriously.
Yep. If you are up in LaSalle Parish or even in western Catahoula, big hail core with this thing on Highway 84 that is moving toward Jonesville, and could bring hail as large as $50, I believe the warning says. So yeah, you're going to want to respect that one. I went to the Lake Charles radar just to take a look at some of this other stuff. Let me put storm relative on to make it a little easier on my eyes. Seeing a little rotation down there, not seeing anything tight up here, but again, we are now from Lake Charles. I'm looking 11,000 feet up into this storm, almost 12. So that is where we are data poor on the radar stuff. So while we may not have an exact, yes, we definitely see something that's severe in producing, you just kind of have to, you're going to get more warnings out that way because of this, because we can't see the specifics inside these storms.
I've been looking at the history of that LaSalle Parish storm, and it's been pretty persistent, dominant for a while since it was back over, affecting Sabine, Northern Vernon, and Southern Natchitoches Parish.
Yep, I'm just pulling up other chasers and everything. Just they are in the one I'm looking at right now. Currently, they are in Gina. So yeah, you can see it's pouring rain, so they're not going to see much there. So storms are developing as we thought. And they're just going to kind of continue to run across the same areas. It looks like this is the dominant supercell right now. It looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. That was a little area of rotation I saw. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning.
I've been seeing, I was going to point it out to you, that there's a dominant core coming just about to cross the Sabine River, in response to that warning is in response to that storm. Yeah,
so if you're in Vernon or extreme northwestern Beauregard Parish, Rose Pine, I believe Burr Ferry once again, you'd probably be in on this. Evans, Stringtown, Burkeville, Texas. If you're watching from Burkeville, you are included in this warning as well. Let's take a look and see what we have going on. Just take a look at the storm. And yeah, there's some weak rotation. I mean, it's there.
And there's a little hail potential.
And we're looking up in this storm, we're only about 2,300 feet. So closer to the radar, you're going to be a lot closer, and you're going to be able to see some more detail. So when we see rotation, things like that, well, we're more confident that it would be something that people could actually, or something that could translate to the ground a little more quickly. And we are seeing at least some sort of rotation out of that storm. And again, this is kind of on that trajectory to where we might be dealing with this here in an hour or hour and a half in Alexandria.
Got feeds in its sights.
Let me see. Do you have a speed on this one? Is it still 40?
That one?
Yeah. I'm just going to... Oops.
It is moving, I say 20.
They're saying 20.
Yeah.
That's going to be a... let's see. Let me see if I buy that. 20 miles per hour. I don't know. I don't know where they're coming up with that. Let's just split the difference and say 30 miles per hour. Okay. So that is, if it's moving about 30 miles per hour... We've got to fix the density on this because evidently there are no communities there, and we know darn well that there are. So, yeah.
See what happens if you treat it like a squall line,
and
see what
okay.
that does.
All right, so we have another way to kind of look at this. I believe we might have a flood warning up there. Got a few. Leesville, Rose Pine, 417, 419. That's when this storm's going to be heading through your area. Puts it in my notes to fix later. And what do we have up here? Tom, what is that? Oops. We have a new warning or a new something or other.
Special statement?
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. Let's take a look. Lake Charles, flash flood warning. That is what that is. Okay, flash flood warning for northwestern Vernon Parish. I don't know when the last flash flood warning I saw was. So let's take a look at the...
2 to 3 inches.
Yep, there you go. Past 3 hours, this is northwestern Vernon Parish. 2 to 3 inches of rain has fallen. Possibly could see some more. I will go ahead and click on a couple of things, and there you go, 2.7, 1.4. Down to 0.8 around Leesville. So much needed rain, but not the delivery method we had requested.
Yeah, because that won't do a lot of good.
No, that's not going to do a lot of good. A lot of that's going to run off and not give us what we need. So let's go back in here, take a look at this storm that's moving. It's tornado warned, at least for the time being, for the next few minutes, and then that's going to move toward Jonesville, where we have a decent hail core that's going to move right between Harrisonburg and Jonesville.
Yeah, if you're in Catahoula, Concordia parishes, just south of 84 and north of, and then all the way to the north, in those parishes, you're under the warning.
Yep, they're under the warning there, and heavy rain, possibly some large hail, and again, tornado possible. We're not I'm not saying that it's a definite with this one by any stretch, but there was a tornado warning for quite some time on this storm, so you want to treat this severe thunderstorm warning maybe a little more respect than you typically would. Hail size, this is again an estimate. In the storm, probably 2¼ inches, probably reaching the ground smaller than that. So if it reaches the ground at quarter size to $50, that can still put some dents in the cars. Let's go ahead and let's see. All right. Clear that out. And take these off. Yeah, that storm coming into southwestern Vernon's actually looking pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's,
That is going to impact areas southwest Vernon Parish. This is right over, it's right south of Evans, or the northern part of the cells over Evans, and this is going to move toward Rose Pine, maybe a little bit north. I'm going to put it in motion for you and show you kind of where this has been and what the structure is doing, and you can see it's sort of taken that right-hand turn here as it starts to mature. So let me see if the lightning's popped up on that recently. Yep, there you go. So that storm is, we have a severe thunderstorm warning on it, and that storm's looking pretty healthy right now. I actually think this could be our next tornado warning, but I don't want to jump too far ahead of myself here. But it is one of those that you're going to want to watch.
yeah, that's that 4-hour rule we talked about, like, what, an hour ago?
Mm-hmm.
We're in that window, and that's where the potential is.
Absolutely.
Gotta
So
watch it.
storm relative, yeah, there's definitely not a real tight rotation now, but it does not take long to get these things to happen. So that's an up-and-coming storm. Here's the old guard right here, this big one that's moving toward Jonesville right now. Very loud storm that likely has hail with it. Let me pull the lightning off so we can actually see things. That confirmed tornado warning is now gone. In fact, I think the tornado warning should expire for LaSalle Parish here in the next few minutes, probably at 4 o'clock. Yeah, tornado warning expires at 4. And that storm's going to continue on to the east. And then we're going to focus, I think, more, especially if this does not get a tornado warning, we're going to focus a little more on what's going on to our southwest. Because I don't see a real coherent signature on that storm right now. Let me go back and just keep an eye on this for a bit. Just checking a couple other things here. Sometimes the old standbys are what you need. Oops. Yeah, but that storm down there in southwestern Vernon Parish is kind of taken off. And that's where we're going to put our focus now for the next little while. Whoops. Just seeing if they're saying anything about that one. Flash. Okay, so for the flash flood warning, it says it was issued as the max unit stream flow and crest unit stream flow indicates really high flows going down the headwaters of Bayou Anacoco. So if you're near Bayou Anacoco, a lot of water coming down there, and that's why they have that flood warning in effect, because you have a lot of runoff because the ground is so incredibly hard right now. We just haven't had any rain, as you know. So this is our severe thunderstorm warning we are watching right now. Big picture shows more strong to severe thunderstorm warnings up to the northeast. This is the stuff that's moving in toward northern Catahoula and Concordia Parish out of LaSalle Parish, and hopefully we can keep those tornado warnings out of here for a little while, and hopefully we don't see another one issued with that new cell that is moving in from the west. Just trying to make sure I'm keeping up on everything here. But yeah, so all this flashing craziness is going to go away, and we're going to be down to 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in a bit. I was thinking we might catch a little bit of a break, but this cell definitely bears watching here, so I'm going to be watching this pretty closely over the next few minutes. Storm relative, not showing much going on, just some heavy rainfall, possibly some small hail out of that. Thank you so much. You are my queen. Refreshment. Kristen, will you grab me a couple ibuprofen? Staring at screens gives you a headache, you know. Hail Mosaic, yeah. I'm just kind of clicking through the products right now and taking a few seconds off. Oh, okay, we're back. That's amazing. I lost that lid within 5 seconds. Found it. Yeah, after a while, you're going to get me talking to myself. So yeah, download the app, check the website, do all that stuff. Thank you to all the sponsors. I hate to mention that stuff during this, but without them, this would not be possible. So make sure you thank them too. Jonesville, that storm cell. Kristen brought us some water. So Jonesville, that cell is right overhead just about. So you're getting the heavy rainfall, hail, possibly now on the north side of town, north of 84. That's where it looks like most of the hail is. Not a big velocity signature, so again, we're high up in the storm here, several thousand feet up. There's broad rotation. I got my water over here. No, you're good. Thanks. All right, keeping it going. You want to see me get really interesting, wait until we get that like 3 a.m. coverage. Heavy rain off and on 3 mile. Okay, hail and manifest.
Yeah,
See,
that hail core is holding together pretty well as it crosses into Catahoula.
Kenny Bullock, 2.54 inches at Hargis.
Okay.
How about that?
Thanks, Kenny.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at comments a little bit. Raining hard in Aloha. Tom K is my favorite weatherman. Caitlin C. Well, I'll give it to him. He's my favorite too, you know. What is BTI? That's the Barron Tornado Index. It's something that we're going to all learn about here. It's a very, let's not even get into the details. It's like a 1 to 10 scale, and the closer to 10 it gets, the worse that algorithm is saying that storm is. So it's a pretty simple thing. It's something that's going to show up on those little storm tracks we do, and it's just something that it's just an added tool to have that we can throw into the toolbox. All right. Sometimes you just have to look away from these storms for a little bit and come back, and that looks looks kind of ragged. Hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, it hasn't progressed.
Yep.
Since.
Looked like it was trying to make a move there for a bit.
Yeah.
Hey, we lost all our blinking lights though. Lake Charles. Let's see. That's our severe thunderstorm that is moving toward Rose Pine or just north of Rose Pine. Yeah, it's just broad rotation here. So with no active tornado warnings, I kind of think we're going to step away, reset for a few minutes. Let's kind of look at something other than these screens, and then we'll come back and we'll cover things. And if there is a tornado warning, we'll jump right back on live. But for now, going to take a little break.